The Cloak of Invisibility. Chapter 1. A Flickering Light. In the provincial town of Hillsburg, life moved at a leisurely pace. Honorary countyman and largely respected mill owner, John was an affable man in his 50s, known for his kind nature and compelling stories of yesteryears. On a usual tranquil evening, as the golden sun dipped below the horizons, John discovered a peculiar artifact within an ancient, moth-eaten chest tucked in the forgotten nooks of his attic. It was a cloak with an ethereal shimmer, not of this time, or perhaps not of this world. Its detailed embroidery exuded an arcane charm that was as intriguing as it was intimidating. Its appeal was irresistible, and John, surrendering to his curiosity, decided to don the mantle, not knowing how that act would change his life irrevocably. Chapter 2. The Disappearance Act. With the cloak comfortably draped over his broad shoulders, something extraordinary occurred. John looked towards an antique ornate mirror that hung unassumingly opposite him, expecting to find his reflection. But what echoed back was the limited interior of the attic, sans John. Perturbed yet bewildered, John quickly took off the cloak, and his reflection promptly returned in the mirror. It was indisputable. The cloak had the power to make its wearers invisible. He chanced upon a Cloak of Invisibility. Chapter 3. Helping Hand John, a man of impeccable morals with an innate desire to assist fellow citizens, devised a plan. He would use the mystical aspects of the cloak to help the inhabitants of Hillsburg. John spent his days resolving disputes, filling gaps where the law failed, offering assistance and support where required, and all the while remaining unseen. His duties expanded from his mill to the entirety of Hillsburg, working tirelessly for his home, shrouded in anonymity, creating ripples of positive changes. Chapter 4. The Vengeful Thief. News, particularly intriguing ones, has a knack for reaching ears it was not meant to. The tale of the cloak fluttered on the lips of a seedy traveler and found its way to a cunning thief, Barton, who thrived in the neighboring town. Visions of untold power and unquestionable authority granted by the cloak sparked in Barton's mind. Eager to exploit the opportunities it would provide, the thief decided to make the cloak his own, prompting him to set his sights on unsuspecting Hillsburg. Chapter 5. Confrontation. On an overcast night, Barton surreptitiously entered John's home, his cold eyes scanning for his coveted prize. But the cloak was not to be. Suddenly, an invisible force grappled him. John had been waiting, ready to defend his honor and that of Hillsburg. The invisibility-cloaked confrontation was unlike anything the vile thief had experienced. His worldly experiences held no bearings in the face of the supernatural power he was up against. Chapter 6. The Final Showdown. The invisible duel spread across the sleeping town. John, deep-rooted in his hometown, used his profound knowledge of the local area to outsmart Barton. Using dark alleys, complex routes, and concealed spots, John finally had the thief cornered, outwitted, and defeated, setting him up for the justice he deserved. Chapter 7. Celebration of Justice. With daybreak, the folks of Hillsburg woke up to the captured thief, bewildered and yet relieved. Celebrations filled the air, but their savior remained an unsolved riddle. John, a silent spectator of the joy he'd afforded his people, resolved to hold his secret close while continuing with his double life. Chapter 8. The Silent Guardian. As time passed, Hillsburg thrived under its invisible shield. Stories of the benevolent, invisible entity passed down generations, and John became a much-loved figure with an added veil of mystery. He smiled quietly, living his life with simplicity, while knowing that the power he held was used for good, and his cloak would always remain a silent symbol of protection for Hillsburg.